Hey, welcome to your Astro Forecast for the week of June 10th. I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot, and my mission is to help you navigate the cosmic energies with greater awareness. If you're watching right now, you are probably watching the replay. If that's the case, leave a comment so I can come back and say hi. If you're new here, we do this every Monday where I chat about what is happening in the skies to bring light to how the week's astrology may affect you. Now, of course, this is going to be at a collective level. How these astrological events affect you personally is going to depend on how it's interacting with your personal birth chart, how it's transiting through your personal birth chart. So let's go ahead and dive in. And before we start on the astrology portion, if you like my choker here, it has Larimar. It is available on my website right now, so go check that out. There's an azurite one in the same style as well. So starting off this week, we only have a couple things to talk about. Tuesday, June 11th, we have Mars at 1 degree of Taurus, creating a square aspect to Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. Now, there's no other way to say this, but this is a tense planetary alignment. So most of you know I am not all sunshine and light and puppies when it comes to astrology, right? There's nothing is all good and nothing is all bad either. But we do have some challenging aspects in astrology, right? We have some challenging placements. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's challenging. It's pushing us to evolve or to try to find the highest expression of that. And so this is a tense planetary alignment on Tuesday, June 11th. Mars and Pluto are both considered malefics, which means that they tend to bring more lessons more often than they bring blessings, right? So they tend to bring us challenges to overcome, right? So two malefics are creating a challenging, tense, square aspect. And a square aspect is when they're kind of competing with each other, right? To see which one is going to come out on top, if you will. It really pushes us to action. It creates kind of a tense energy, kind of a crisis energy, if you will. So Mars is the planet of actions. It's the planet of impulses, even anger. And Mars usually wants to charge forward, wants to charge ahead, right? And then Pluto is the planet of transformation, of power, of obsession. It is the lord of the underworld. Pluto wants to go deep under the surface and do some excavations and do this whole life, death, rebirth process, right? So on this day, this can really be a day of power struggles. This can really be a day of confrontations. These confrontations can certainly be with others, but I'm going to take it one step further into more evolutionary astrology and say that these confrontations can be confrontations with yourself as well. Right? So what am I charging ahead on and instead of releasing emotional attachment to, right? Where am I trying to control situations rather than allowing myself to kind of let go and allow the universe to work its magic and trust and surrender. So just know this can be a really tense day. So not only you may be feeling it, but other people may be feeling it as well. You might already be feeling it. So if other people are seeming like they are maybe more tense or more confrontational or more aggressive on this day, just know that this could be the cause of it. And so allow yourself to give yourself grace and allow yourself to give others grace as well, as this is a really tense energy, and it can also bring up some resentments or some deep-seated anger, right? Because we're talking about Mars, which does rule anger, and it's currently sitting in Taurus, which oftentimes we suppress that anger in Taurus, but we hold on to it, right? We'll hold on to that anger, but we'll suppress it as well, kind of try to sweep it under the rug, but it's still there. And then Pluto is there, and Pluto is very deep energy as well. So it's bringing up things that you've buried deep down. And so this can be a day that we have resentments, old angers come forward. And so just remember to allow yourself grace, because this is a tense energy. And then on Friday, June 14th, we have the first quarter moon at 23 degrees Virgo. So the first quarter moon occurs when the sun creates a challenging square aspect to the waxing moon while the energy of the moon is building. And this square aspect, similarly to what we were just speaking to, pushes us to action. It creates a tension or a crisis mode. And this makes the themes of the first quarter moon include focus, momentum, facing your fears, taking action towards what you desire. So when we talk about manifesting with the moon, the first quarter moon occurs about a week after that new moon when we have set our intentions, right? And so when we talk about manifesting with the moon, we really only get 2 weeks of active manifestation time within the lunar cycle. The other 2 weeks are the waning moon, when the light of the moon is decreasing and when we are resting and reflecting and releasing and realigning before we start the lunar cycle over again with the new moon. And so we really only have 2 weeks from the new moon to the full moon of active manifestation time when we're really working towards those intentions that we set. And the first quarter moon comes halfway in between the new and the full moon to remind us that if you just set an intention at that new moon and do nothing else and don't take any action, your intention is probably not going to come to fruition by the time of the full moon. So the first quarter moon comes in and reminds you that part of manifestation is taking those aligned actions. We cannot just journal what we want. We cannot just envision ourselves in the place that we want. We cannot just say the affirmations and expect it to happen. The universe always says, you know, if you take the actions that you can take, what's in your circle of control, then we'll take the actions that are outside of your circle of control to help, but they're not going to do it all for you, right? The universe is kind of like a really good, hey Leah, the universe is kind of like a really good parent who's like, we're not going to do it all for you, but if you do as much as you can do, I'll come in and help you with the rest, right? So that's kind of how I like to think of it. The first quarter moon in Virgo card says to assess the situation. So Virgo is all about details, detail oriented. So on a first quarter moon in Virgo, the actions that you're going to be taken are probably the small things that you forgot about. So for instance, if I'm trying to manifest abundance on this lunar cycle, the big actions that we would think about would typically be like, oh, I've got to get my 401k, or I've got to start, cutting out expenses or things like that. The small details that Virgo brings into the mind are like, what about those subscription services that you don't use that you haven't thought about? What about the small, the small things, the small details, not the overarching big details? So this is what Virgo is about. And so when you're doing your manifestation, if you set an intention at the new moon, come back to that this week, especially on Friday on the first quarter moon. It's going to be happening at 1:18 a.m. on like Friday morning here in Myrtle Beach. So you could do your take your actions Thursday night or at any time during the waxing moon, really. But this first quarter moon is really the time that if you've forgotten to take those actions is saying, hey, your intention's not going to come to fruition unless we take some actions. So really look back at what your intention was on that last new moon and think, what are some actions that are so small and are so mundane that I maybe would have missed them, right? It's kind of the energy of those little things add up. Those little changes add up to big transformation. Yes. And then on Friday, June 14th, also we have Mercury Cazimi. We've been having a lot of Cazimis recently. And so, again, I'll explain what a Cazimi is. A Cazimi is a crucial moment during a planet's orbit when a planet forms an exact conjunction with the sun, meaning that it meets at the same degree of the same sign as the sun. And what this does is it initiates a new cycle. So the word Cazimi is derived from an Arabic phrase meaning in the heart of the sun. So this planet, whatever planet is in Cazimi, this time it's Mercury, is passing through the heart of the sun, right? And so it is said to be purified in the fire of the sun and come out with greater clarity, come out with greater purpose. The moon gets a Cazimi every month, and we call it the new moon, right? We just don't call it a moon Cazimi. So think of a Cazimi as a new cycle for that planet. So this time we're talking Mercury is going to be purified through the fire of the sun and start a new cycle. Since Mercury is the planet of communication, mindset, perception, we can really expect our mental realm to have greater clarity on this day, to have purpose renewed in the mind. If you've been unsure recently or confused or foggy, if you felt that energy recently, this day is going to be a really great day to clear the mind of any past clutter and to start fresh. Also, as the sun influences self-expression, right? This is also a day, a great day to express anything that you may not have had the courage to easily or previously, especially expressing any thoughts within the mind, right? This is going to, any thoughts, any ideas, this is going to be a great day to have the courage to express those thoughts and ideas. That you previously may not have had, or that you previously were uncertain on, or didn't have the clarity yet to, maybe I have this idea, but I haven't found the words to put it into, out into the world. And this would be a really great day to kind of collect those thoughts, purify those thoughts, gain clarity, gain more of a sense of purpose, and then express it out into the world. So that is your astro forecast for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments. If you missed the beginning, the replay is going to be available for you to watch the beginning and also to come back all throughout the week so that you can remind yourself what is happening in the cosmic dance. All right, so much love. See you next week.